Hi, I'm Jemer Logroño, and now I will discuss the title of research report or investigation. After the selection of the topic, the researcher consider the title of the research and what criterion measures exist for presenting a good one. So among the different considerations for this action are the following. First, it should not be long and should not be more than 20 words. Second, it should incite the variables independent and dependent and the method of analysis. Third, it should give insight virtually on what the research is all about. Fourth, it should serve as a reference for the whole research report which others can be used. Fifth, it should enable one to claim the paper as his own and helps other researchers to refer to one's work as they survey some queries themselves. 6. The following words should not be part of the title since all the researchers are studies. Analysis of variable and investigations like the study of, analysis of, or investigations of. Now, in the parts of research report, there are two kinds of research format. The format of thesis and dissertation and a format of scientific research journal. For thesis and dissertation papers, we have the following parts. There are schools which are different formats, and it is the privilege of school to have their own. Example, in chapter titles, 1. The problem and its background. 2. Review of related literature and studies. 3. Methods of research and procedure. 4. Presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. Now, let's proceed to the second research format. The second research format is scientific reports. For scientific reports, the following are usually the parts. So in scientific reports, there are the 6 parts. Number 1 is abstract of purpose. Number 2 is key concepts. Number 3 is objectives. Number 4 is methodology. Number 5 is results and discussion purpose. And the last one is conclusions and recommendations. In abstracts, the purpose is to thank those who were directly involved in your work. In key concepts, the key concept is usually the main idea in the essay question. A good technique for finding the key concept is to reword the questions. In objectives, it is expressing or dealing with facts, conditions as perceived without distortion by personal feelings and interpretations. In methodology, this is the analysis of the principles or procedures of inquiry in a particular field. In results of discussion purpose, it is discussed the relationships between your results and how they relate to your initial objectives and hypotheses. And the last is conclusion and recommendation. This is the summary of whole research. Now, let's proceed to the components of chapter 1. The research report generally has 3 major parts, which are the following. Number 1 is before the main body. Number 2 is the main body. And number 3 after the main body. In before the main body, it contains the blank page, title page, recommendations of oral examination, approval sheet, acknowledgement. The purpose of acknowledgement is to thank those who were involved in your work. Then, lastly, is dedication. So, in the main body, it has the 5 chapters. And these are, in chapter 1, it contains the problem and its background. In Chapter 2, it is review of related literature and studies. In Chapter 3, it is the methods of research and procedure. Chapter 4 is presentation, analysis, and interpretations of data. In Chapter 5, this is the summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations. And after the main body, and this is after the Chapter 5, the following are included. Number 1 is bibliography, number 2 is appendices, and number 3 is curriculum vitae. A bibliography is a list of all the sources you have used, whether referenced or not, in the process of searching your work. In general, a bibliography should include the author's name, the titles of the work, the names and location of the companies that publish your copies of the sources, the dates your copies were published, and the page numbers of your success. In appendices, this is a section or table of additional matter at the end of the book or document. In curriculum vitae, this is a short for Latin phrase curriculum vitae, which means course of life, is a detailed document highlighting your professional and academic history. Curriculum vitae typically include information, life work experience, achievements, and awards, scholarships or grants you've earned, coursework, research projects, and publications of your work. In Chapter 1, it contains the problem and its background. In this chapter, it includes the introduction, theoretical framework, statement of the problem, hypothesis, scope and limitation, conceptual framework, significance of the study, and the definition of terms can be used. In Chapter 2, this is a review of related literature and studies. This chapter includes some related literature and studies of foreign and local which are presented in the following paragraphs. In Chapter 3, this is the methods of research and procedure. This chapter presents the research methodologies used in the study. This includes the research design, resources of data, data gathering procedure, and the statistical treatment of data. In Chapter 4, this is a presentation, analysis, and interpretations of data. This chapter presents the gathered data in tabular presentation, analysis, and interpretation of findings based on the results of the statistical treatment applied. The data are organized in sequential order based on the statement of the problem in Chapter 1. Chapter 5. This is the summary of findings, conclusions, and recommendations. This chapter offers the summary of findings, the conclusions, and recommendations in accordance with the findings. So, that is the end of my report. And thank you.